Welcome back to Golden Eagle Sports Report. Once again, I'm Meghan Rock.
And I'm Schumal. The Marquette men's basketball team is coming off their worst week in conference play, losing their last 2 games. And we're sick of seeing it. Get it? Because everyone's getting sick this time of the year? Anyway, the first loss came last Wednesday when the team was defeated by Villanova by a score of 67-61. The squad may have shown minor bright spots, with one of those being Marcus Howard's 25 points. But Jermaine Samuels was all over the pavilion, dropping 29 points and leading the Wildcats' defensive efforts that caused 18 total Marquette turnovers.
After that loss, the squad returned home for a matchup with the Creighton Blue Jays. The last time these two teams played, Sam Hauser hit a buzzer beater to send the game into overtime. And Marcus Howard dropped a career record, or Big East record, of 53.
However, the game yesterday between these two teams ended much differently. Marquette turned the ball over 22 times, a season high, and Creighton was able to hold Sam Hauser to only 3 points. The one positive that came out of this game was the fact that Marcus Howard became the all-time single-season scoring leader for Marquette, passing up Dwayne Wade and Andrew Rousey. Howard has also been named a finalist for the 2019 Bob Cousy Point Guard Award, which recognizes the top point guard in the country.
Wow. And then the final score against Creighton was 66-60, with Marquette notching 2 consecutive losses for the first time this season, and just their second loss at Pfizer Forum. I was on hand to recap the action.
Frustration ran deep through Marquette basketball Sunday. And on Marcus Howard's birthday of all days, the junior guard finished with 33 points on the afternoon. But this wasn't the only highlight for Howard. He surpassed former teammate Andrew Rousey and Marquette legend Dwayne Wade for the all-time single-season scoring record. He now sits 3rd in program history with over 1,800 career points. But right now, this record means nothing to Howard.
Honestly, all I'm thinking about right now is that we didn't win the game. So, I mean, it's great, but I just wanted to win, and not being able to do that is kind of disappointing.
Marquette fell to Creighton 66-60 at Pfizer Forum. This is the second and largest loss in the new venue. Back-to-back Big East losses for the Golden Eagles have come as a result of poor ball control. The team has a combined 40 turnovers in these matchups, and 30% of Marquette's possessions have ended in a giveaway.
At Villanova and Creighton in a different way today, I mean, with their traps, they make running offense harder, and which that's what teams are supposed to do. And so if somebody makes running offense harder on you, you have to work harder, you have to be stronger, you have to be more fundamentally sound.
Foul trouble for Marquette's big men down low has also been a factor in the losses.
Ed and Theo have been really good players for us, and obviously they're key parts to our defense, and foul trouble is part of the game.
But Wojo acknowledged the team's lack of preparation was solely on him.
Whether it's hard or not, in order to win in March, you have to do hard things. And so I have to prepare our team to do hard things better.
The Golden Eagles will try to end a 2-game conference losing skid when they travel to Seton Hall Wednesday to face the Pirates at 5:30 Central Time. From Pfizer Forum, I'm Meghan Rock, Marquette Wire Sports.
We now want to welcome in our men's basketball analyst, Matt Yeazel. Matt, it's your first time on the show. Thanks for being here.
Great to be here.
So, Matt, the team is coming off 2 straight losses for the first time this season. What's your overall takeaway from this last week?
Well, yeah, it wasn't a great week. You look back at the first game against Villanova, you wouldn't think that's a terrible loss, but when you look back and you have 18 turnovers, and a lot of those off mental mistakes and things that wasn't forced by the other team, you kind of have a sour taste in your mouth thinking you could have won that game. But then you look at the Creighton game, and that's a really bad loss. Team at the top of the conference, that's when you have to take care of business, especially at home. And like you mentioned earlier, the 22 turnovers, just not a great showing for Marquette this week, and definitely need to bounce back.
Yeah, and we know that turnovers have been a big issue for the team of late. How do you think that they can clean up the turnover ratio that they've been having, especially the past 2 games before they head to the Big East tournament or the NCAA tournament?
Well, Wojo in his press conference talked about how teams are kind of learning how to guard them and throwing different things about them, especially off pick and rolls. They're really pressuring, especially Marcus Howard and the other ball handlers as well. So they really need to watch film on these couple days off and figure out just how to adjust and adapt to what teams are throwing at them and how teams are kind of trying to figure out their offense and how to stop it. So they have a little time here to correct it, and they definitely will.
Hopefully they can. So the team travels to face Seton Hall on Wednesday and Georgetown on Sunday. Do you think the Golden Eagles will respond after some disappointment last week?
Well, you would think, these are two teams they have to take care of business against, but they won both of these games against these two teams by a combined 7 points. Although against Georgetown, they didn't have Marcus Howard, and that was a big win for them to show that they could beat a pretty decent team without him. But with that game being at home this week, you definitely expect them to take care of business there. But in the Big East, as we saw last week, anything can happen. There's a lot of teams that aren't getting a lot of national attention but have a lot of talent. So these are two games that Marquette definitely has to correct their mistakes for and just take care of business if they want to be considered one of the top teams in the country.
Well, definitely, Matt. I guess we'll see when they travel to Seton Hall. But as always, great insights. The team, as always, great insights. And thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Remember, we're going off an air next week for spring break, unless you guys want to be here. But I'm not
I'm
going
going
to be
home,
here.
Tara.
So just heads up, we're going to be off air. Signing off.
I'm Meghan Rock.
And I'm Tara Schumal. Good night, Marquette.